and welcome to this video from Kaelin-Tech. So what we're going to do here is we're going to build a Ubuntu system, a basic Ubuntu system, because we're going to start teaching you the Transit ISP and show you how to actually build it with the free radius. So we're going to do the free radius on top of Ubuntu, but this particular lesson is just going to be on building the Ubuntu using Tiger VNC to connect to the system to build it, and we'll do the netplan, okay? And we'll do the update on this system. So the first thing we need to do is we need to ensure that the guest has outside access as well. So let's add an object. So we'll add a node, and we're going to add a Linux node. Okay, so we're just going to add the one node. We're going to give it 3 Ethernet ports for the connectivity. The console is initially going to be VNC. Okay, so we'll save that and we'll move that into the middle of the screen. Now, we also need to ensure that we have external access. Now, in Eve Professional, that's quite easy. We add an object, we add a network, and the network we're going to add is going to be a management cloud. Okay, and we'll save that. So we're going to pop that here, and we'll connect our Linux network into the network cloud. We'll use Ethernet 0. It'll be named different than that in the actual guest itself once we go into it. So we'll save that. So we have that external access. Now, let me bring up the Tiger VNC. So we'll bring up Tiger VNC because we'll need a VNC player to view this initially. So first thing we got to do is get the port number. So if we mouse over our system, we don't have a port number currently yet because we haven't started the system. So what we do is we start the system. Okay. And now if we mouse over, we have in the bottom left corner, you can see we have a port number of 51743. So let's put in there 51743 and we'll connect. And I'm hoping this is going to be big enough for you to see because sometimes it's a little bit small. So we're going to install the Ubuntu. If this is not big enough to see, I do apologize because the VNC player is not allowing to adjust the font size. So I'm hoping this is going to be large enough for you to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this start until it comes up with the first screen. So hopefully this won't take too long to come up for you. Okay, if it does and you don't want to wait, obviously just fast forward the video a little bit. Okay, so I'm in the UK. So we're going to go to English UK using the arrow keys and the enter key. I want to continue without updating, so we're putting a basic on. As you can see, the layout for the keyboard is US, so I use the up arrow. I go to English US, press enter, English UK, and it changes them both to UK. Done. Ubuntu server is what we want. It's already highlighted, so done. We wait for the Ethernet ports to come up, which it has. Click done. We don't need a proxy address. We don't need a mirror address for this. You may need it for yours. We're going to use the entire disk, so we get down to done, done, and we're going to continue. Okay, now I'm just going to put in my name, Clive, and the name of the server is going to be free radius 01. And the reason I'm using 01 is because in future lessons we're going to put a cluster in here to show you the failover side of things and redundancy. Pick a username. I'll just use Clive and a basic password. It's a very basic one. It's just to show you guys. We go to done. We want to install the OpenSSH, so we use the space bar here to select that, and we go to done. We don't need any of these add-ons, so we just go to done, and now it'll install the system, and I will come back to the video once it's installed because it will take a few minutes. Okay, so the install is complete, and all we're going to do now is we'll just go, you can view the log if you want to, but what we're actually going to do is we're just going to go for a reboot now. And after this is rebooted, I will continue. Okay, so the system's rebooted, so we're just going to log in now. Sorry, let's get my mouse over it. And we'll just pop in the password that we used for building the system during the build. So there we go. So let's clear the screen a minute. So if we do clear, that clears us up to there. Now, as you can tell from the $sign, this means that I'm only on as a user at the moment. And to save me having to do sudo before each command, I know we shouldn't do this from a security perspective, but it's for the sake of the video. We're going to do a sudo -s, and we put in the password, and that is now root, as you can see, and which changed to the hash sign. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, we should be able to ping 8.8.8.8 anyway, so we have the outside access from the guest, and we can. But that will be DHCP enabled, so we need to change the netplan on Ubuntu. So that is under etc. /netplan, and it'll be a YAML. And the normal basic file begins with a 0, so I can vi it from here. So I'm going to use vi. So I'm going to vi /etc. /netplan, and it begins with a 0, so I can just tab that and up it comes. And as we can see, we have these interfaces. However, the one thing I haven't done yet, which we need to do, is I'm going to use escape:*Q just to come out of this quickly, and I'm going to do IP space A. That stands for IP address or addresses, because we need to see which interface the 16 address is currently on. And as we can see, it's ENS3. It's one labeled number 2. So the actual interface we want to change is ENS3. Okay, so we can then use the up arrow, go back to the vi command, and change ENS3 is the one that we want to change. So we escape I for insert, and I'm actually going to try and do this neatly. So I'm going to go to the end of network, and we've got version at the bottom anyway, but I'm actually going to put it here, version : space 2. Then we need the renderer, so renderer : space network D. Okay, now we can remove this completely, and in here we can put addresses, and we'll colon that, and we put this, and we can use, we'll just pick 192.168.16. Let's just pick something 150. We want it as a /24. And what we're going to do is we're also we're going to go back, because we're going to put in here name servers. Okay, and again we put in addresses, and we can use the square brackets for this. So we can put in here 8.8.8.8, comma, space 8.8.4.4. We'll close that. And then the last important part of this is roots. Okay, so we need to put in our roots too. So we can say here 2, we're going to go 2, and we'll actually put this in first, and then we'll do 2, and then we're just going to put this in as a basic everywhere. Okay, so 0.0.0.0/0, and then we have to put in here via. Where are we going to get that from? So what's the gateway address going to be? Well, in our case, I know for the 16 network it's a .2. Okay, so I can do 192.168.16.2. For the other two interfaces, we'll just leave them as DHCP'd for the moment. Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem at all. So let's remove the version 2 at the bottom, because we've inserted that at the top. We'll do an escape:*WQ. Now, what we do now is we just type netplan apply. Okay, so now if we do an IPA, we can see that our address, if we look at ENS3, which is number 2, it's now changed to 150. The big question is, can we still ping Google? Well, let's have a look. Yes, we can. So we still have the outside access. Okay, so to do the net plan, make sure you're on the correct interface and that you do the routes required, etc., etc. You may have a route that needs to use a different interface to a specific address, but we're doing a basic install here. Okay, and the other two things that we need to do is we need to do apt update, so we can do that. Okay, and then we do an upgrade, but that takes a couple of minutes, that does, and it's the same command, apt upgrade. Now you will be asked if you want to continue at certain points, and you have to press yes or Y, enter. But to get around that, we can just do a -Y here and it'll go through it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that is then the very basic configured. Okay, so you'll have learned how to get your external access within Eve for a guest system. And you'll have seen how we're going to install the basic Ubuntu, and then how we've configured the net plan and how we have upgraded the requirements before we start with the free radius side, which will be the next lesson. Okay, take care. Bye bye.